Hi friends, in this lecture we will study how to use Vlookup tables and creation of a graph in Excel interchangeably. So we are having a sheet in which you can see I have some columns like names of Indian states, the number of houses sold and the number of cars sold. Now what I want to do over here is that over here I want to create a drop down so that any state which I select from this drop down, it should be able to pull out the houses sold and the cars sold. So over here we are going to use data validation feature of Excel, and in these two cells we are going to use VLOOKUP feature of Excel. After that we will convert this into a table so that if I add a row later, that row will also be reflected in the table. And then this is the table I want to make a graph over here. So let us see the process one by one. We start by creating a drop down for the state. So I click on the cell below state and then click on data, and in data tools I select validation. Now in allow I select list, and for the source for the list I select the state names by pressing Ctrl Shift and down arrow and then select OK. So if you see, now I have a drop down list, and from the drop down I can select any of the state names. Now I want to pull out the corresponding number of houses sold for this state and the corresponding number of cars sold for this state. So I click on the houses sold and I type equal to VLOOKUP open parenthesis, what value to look up, this value, comma, where do you want to look up for that value? So I want to look up for that value in these two ranges, comma. You want to pick up the value from which column? From the second column. And you want the exact match, so 0. Close parenthesis, hit enter. So you can see that for Karnataka, houses sold is 3,50,000, or it is 350,000. Now I can change this state to any state of my choice, and the corresponding number of houses sold for that state would come. In the same way, I want to find out the cars sold, so I will select equal to VLOOKUP open parenthesis, what value to look up, this value, comma, where to look up the value in this range, comma, pick up the value from which column, third column, comma, I want an exact match, so 0, close parenthesis and hit enter. So you can see the corresponding figure for Maharashtra. Let's change the state and see for some other state. Yes, we got the correct figures. Now I want to convert this into a graph. So to make it into a graph, to make it into a table, I'll select this first and click on insert and make it into a table. And then click on OK. So now this has become a table. Okay. Now for this table I want to make a graph. So I select the range and I press Alt F1. So very soon I have the graph ready for my data. And later on, if I want to add one more row into this table, I can right click over here, insert, and I can table row below. So I can add one more row, and then I can change the state name and you can see I can now compare two states. So if I select Goa and correspondingly I select Maharashtra, so I can see the corresponding number of houses sold and the number of cars sold. So friends, in this lecture you have studied how to use the data table feature of Excel, how to convert a quantity into a table, and how to use VLOOKUP, and how to make a graph for the VLOOKUP. Hope you have learned something new. If you like this video, don't forget to like, share and subscribe. We'll see you again in the next lecture. Till that time, goodbye.